Hey, what's up everybody? Brooke here. I hope wherever you are in the world today is treating you well. So I am just doing a quick car vlog. I wanted to pop in, I had a couple minutes, and I wanted to make a video. I dropped my daughter off at a play date a little while ago. I just went to Whole Foods and now I'm gonna go back in a couple minutes. But I wanted to just make a quick car vlog. It's Sunday, March 19th, 2023. It is spring tomorrow, so I am really looking forward to it. New York was really delayed in our weather this year, so apparently it was like, you know, so warm in freaking February and even up until like 2 weeks ago, and now it's freezing. So the weather is definitely like a little wonky, but it's spring tomorrow. I got to get my seeds in the ground at some point soon. And yeah, you know the whole thing. I'm so excited for this year's garden. But I wanted to talk about a topic that I actually had a conversation with somebody on Instagram about. And I think it's a good topic to talk about. Now, I don't really have, like, because I'm going through having changed careers and I'm starting a new career at in my 30s, in my mid-30s, I feel like I'm not at the end of it. So I can't give you like, oh, when I was going through it, I was doing this, that, and the third, because I'm still going through it. And that's a big reason why I like to document my progress, my process, because I think it's important for others to see that it's possible. You know, you can be at any stage of your life and you can start over. Never settle. Never settle. That's probably what I'll title this video today. Never settle. If you're unhappy in any situation, start over, you know what I mean? Or pivot and get a new career, get a new job, get a new relationship, end an old relationship, start a new relationship, move locations, if you will, if you're not happy. And I feel like a lot of people settle. I think they settle because they're scared. And it's a very human emotion. I feel like I've been scared so much in my life, so many times in my life where I've made a decision and I'm the type of person that I'll jump in with both feet and I'm just like, I hope it was the right decision. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's totally normal to be scared, especially when you have a family, and you're worried about finances and you're worried about keeping a roof over your head and you know, water and food in the fridge. And, you know, I think it's definitely a human emotion to be scared of change. But the thing is, if you don't change, there will be no change. You know what I mean? So if, let's say, you're someone that is unhappy in their job, I think it's really important to consider changing your job, right? Now, granted, in this time, right, 2023, we are seeing a very unstable job market. A lot of people will say, oh, people just don't want to work. And listen, there's definitely truth to that. People want to have their own job, their own businesses. They want to have their own hours. They want to have their own flexibility. We saw after COVID, during the pandemic, the gig economy just blew up and people quit their jobs. And I think people were no longer settling. And I think that was a really powerful moment. I think it was a really important time in history that people stopped settling and they were expecting more from their employers and they were expecting to really establish a true work-life balance. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, truthfully. Now, of course, there's two sides of the story. There's their side, there's the other side, and then there's the truth, right? Because I also think there's truth in people that want things for nothing. I think there are people that definitely don't think that they have to work or they should work or, you know, things should just be given to them. And I'm most certainly someone that doesn't think that. I think if you want something, you got to go out and get it. I think the secret, you know, the whole manifestation thing, I think there's truth in some of it, you know, for sure. I think when you think good, you bring good type thing. But I also think if you're in your house and you're manifesting a car, it's not going to happen. You know, you got to make moves. And I was talking to this woman yesterday on Instagram, and we were talking about, you know, people who are leaving their careers and switching careers. So, for example, I work with this woman named Keisha, who's a total badass. I really, really like this woman. She's honestly one of my favorite tradeswomen that I've met on the field, or in the field rather. And I remember I wanted to talk to her because, you know, it's weird. Like, you don't know how to approach people, because I almost feel like trying to get friends in, like, you know, as an adult, it's kind of like, you don't want to be a creep, but like you also like, hey, you're kind of doing something I'm interested in. Can I ask some questions? Like, you know, you kind of like flirting with the person in a sense that like you want to like, you know, flirt friendship type thing. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense, you know, like you don't know how to approach someone that you want to be friends with without seeming like a creep, because it comes off creepy. Even me saying that came off creepy, you know? But I remember I was like, all right, I need to get an icebreaker with this girl, okay? Because we keep smiling at each other. I think it's going to go somewhere in the friend area, you know, like, so let me make a move, right? Let me make a comment. So I go up to her and I was like, I didn't even know her name. I knew nothing about her. We just would exchange smiles. Hey, girl, like that kind of thing. And I was like, girl, I was like, how are you an electrician? Like, aren't you scared of electric? You know, I made like some stupid comment and she started laughing. She's like, I love it. I love it. She's like, I came from being a nurse. She's like, where I was so unhappy. And this is like literally like our first conversation. She's like, I came from being a nurse where I was so unhappy. She was like, I worked crazy hours. I was dealing with, you know, just that world, right? It's difficult to deal with people that are sick. And of course, I mean, it's hard. You need to be like a certain type of person to handle that. And she was like, I just wasn't happy. She's like, and now I'm here, I'm working in the field. She's like, I love it, right? And I was laughing. I was like, well, I'm scared. And the guy she was working with is one guy that I would harass all the time because I won't work with electric. I'm scared of electric. I straight up am. Like, if you're asking me to do like to reset a breaker or something, I'm using like a stick. Like I'm so dramatic. Like I'm so dramatic. And honestly, I love my age because I don't give a damn what other people think. Like if I was 20, I'd be trying to be cool and like, oh, let me like, you know, put my fear away. But now I'm just like, I don't give a damn. Like you can think I'm a psychopath all you want. Like help me with the electric, you know? But so he's looking at me. He's like, oh, this girl's harassing my you know, my journeyman or my journeywoman. And so it was funny. But anyway, so we start talking and she's like, yeah, I was a nurse. And we just straight up started talking. And, you know, we talk all the time. You know, I really learned a lot about her and I have so much respect for this woman because I think it's really important to, if you're not happy, to move. And the issue is when you're in a situation where you feel like you're stuck, you make good money, you feel like you should just appreciate it. You should just appreciate the job. You have a job. So many people don't have jobs. So many people are homeless. You know, so many people are in poverty. You know, you should feel privileged, right? There's that aspect. But then there's the other aspect. Well, you only have one life and you want to do what you want to do. You want to be happy. You want to be fulfilled, right? As long as you're a good person, you're good to others, and you're good to the environment and animals and all that, like you should be able to do whatever you want. You know, you really should. Like you should be able to, if at any stage in your life, we stopped dreaming when we became adults, right? We did. We stopped dreaming. You know, when we were kids, we would think about what we wanted to be when we were older. When we were older, we got into a career, and some of us were homemakers. Some of us decided to do other things. Some of us decided to start businesses. And after a period of time, some people become unhappy, and then they stop dreaming, and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm stuck. I made my bed. I got to lie in it," and that's simply not true. I truly believe that if you're unhappy, then you need to pivot. I meet people all the time. Oh, weirdly, oddly enough, too, a lot of women that I've met have come out of the medical field and have gone into the trades, or sometimes even vice versa. I know that the trades isn't for everyone, and I know people that have left the trades and have gone work for Geico or insurance companies or more white collar jobs, and that's a powerful move too. Because if you're not happy just because you went to a program or you know now you feel like you have a pension, you have an annuity, you have all these things, you know. If you're not vested and you're only there for a short period of time, get out, go somewhere else. You know, it doesn't matter. So I feel like it's really important that people not worry about what other people think, because I think that's the driver for many different decisions that people make in life, and then to just make the move. Now, of course, if you have a family or even if you have a retirement you're worried about, you want to be smart. You want to make sure you pick a career that is going to be able to give you the income you need, to be able to satiate the desire you have to either create, to be a part of society, to work, the workload. You know, you want to be able to, you can handle it. Or if you're someone that's ambitious, that like myself, like I'm definitely someone that looks at something like being a plumbing apprentice. Okay, where is that going to take me? Am I going to be a business owner? Am I going to be a business agent? Am I going to work for the actual union? Like, what am I going to be doing? There's many different outlets that I have. And I love having the control and the power to be like, all right, I'm going to work towards this because that's what I like. I love that. Appreciating where you're at in your life is important as well. I'm in a difficult situation in my life because my life is difficult. I mentioned it in other videos, like I live far from where I work right now. I live far from where my kids go to school right now. And it's difficult for me. You know, money is always tight. I have 3 kids. I go to private school. You know, even just like the food that I eat, the water quality, like everything, I want to make sure that, you know, if I'm going to work hard, I want the things that I want, you know, like I want the things that I want. I want to have good water. I want my kids to get a great education. And not that they can't in public school, but that's a whole other video. Like where I live, I'm not a fan. I'm just not. But I think that, and plus like with my own background of my education, I'm very traumatized from the way that I was treated in public school and special education specifically. I was treated very poorly. And in my head, I was like, oh, well, my kids are going to get a different education. And that's why I work so hard to make sure that I'm setting them up, that they don't have the same complexes that their mother has, that I try to keep from them. But sometimes it kind of slips through the cracks. But anyway, I could just go on a tangent, really, like, but another thing too, and this is advice for the people that have been out of the workforce for a long time. All right, I got a couple minutes. So let's say, just going to throw a random story out there. You've been out of the workforce for a long time because let's say you were a stay-at-home mom and you were child rearing, you're taking care of the kids, which a lot of people want to say is not a job. That's a job. That's definitely a job. Maybe it's not bringing in an income, but I think the most important job is when you have children is making sure your children are good people, putting character into or helping your children develop character, helping your children to become good people, you know what I mean? Giving them value systems and being there for them. I think that's very important. So I meet moms that are like, oh, well, I don't have a job and, I stay home with the kids and that's a job. And I correct them. That's a job. That's a very important job. So bite your tongue, lady, bite your tongue. That's important. Every stage has its purpose. But let's say you have been a stay-at-home mom and let's say you're ready, your kid's back to school, you're ready to enter the workforce. Let's say, unfortunately, you get a divorce and now you need an income on your own. I think it's very intimidating to re-enter the workforce after having been out of it for a long time. And I've met gentlemen on my job that I work with. I work with so many different men, like from just different jobs that I work with. And, it's interesting. A lot of people have different stories, but a lot of times they mirror each other. And one thing that I hear a lot is that the wives want to work, but they don't know what to do. They're not blue collar. They're not going to go into the blue collar workforce. They don't know anything about computers. They haven't worked in a long time, and they need the money. They don't know what to do, whatever. And listen, it's intimidating. It's 100% intimidating. When I had my oldest daughter, up until I had my, I was working when I was pregnant. Short story. When I was pregnant, I had a cleaning company, a housekeeping company. I was literally on my hands and knees, 7.5, 8 months pregnant, cleaning people's kitchens. And I remember one time I go to this, I only stopped because I was at this one customer's house in Northport, Long Island. Gorgeous, gorgeous house. And I really like these people a lot. And I remember I'm cleaning on the floor because I'm just that type of person. Like I put everything into it. I, clean hands and knees. I'm humble, right? I am humble. I will work hard for my money. Whatever. So I wanted to make sure my customer was happy. And I'm literally on the floor and my customer comes up to me and he gives me $300, right? Which was, the cleaning was like $80. And he did not need to give me this money. And he was like, listen, he was like, I'm not trying to have you have a baby on the floor. He was like, you're good. He's like, you're already a good mom. He's like, I could tell. He was like, call me when you have this baby. He's like, you shouldn't be working. You shouldn't be on your hands and knees. You shouldn't be cleaning houses. You got to get ready for your baby. And I remember I started crying. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. I could even cry now. But I was so embarrassed. But then I was like, thank you. And I thought it was really nice. It was a nice gesture. And then I had stopped cleaning. But from that point, up until I started my diaper service when I was 22, I was out of the workforce. I mean, I guess it's not too long, right? So 2.5 years, not very long, not like 20 years, but it was still kind of the same feeling. But then I started my own business. And then even then, it took me almost a year, like 9 months, 10 months to get my first customer. But then when I got into welding again, that was when I really felt it. I was like, damn, I've been out of the field for a long time, right? I haven't welded since my daughter was born, my oldest. And then I hadn't welded in like maybe 11 years at that point. So I was nervous. I was definitely nervous. And then I felt a lot of feelings, right? Like I could have been comfortable at the job I was at, the machine shop. I loved my boss, a lot of respect for him. I loved everybody I worked with, but I knew I needed more. And when the plumbing opportunity came my way, I was like, I gotta take it. It was I just felt like the stars aligned. I was like, there's something about this. I never thought I'd be a plumber. I was like, but let me jump onto it. And then when I went into the class, I remember I had two sides of me fighting. Get out, turn around, walk right the hell out. You are not a plumber. You are not going to deal with this for 5 years. You are not going to sit in class with people half your age, like making the same money. You're on the job site. You're both apprentices. You're not going to do this to yourself. This is embarrassing. You're better than this. You are a business owner, blah, blah. I had all these things in my head. And then the other part was like, no, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to learn. We're going to grow. We're going to, I had that part, the two parts arguing. And then I just was like, no, like whatever led me here, right? And I'm so happy I stayed because even though I'm in a difficult position in the sense that my job's difficult, everything, what I mentioned earlier, just being a mom in the trades, it's hard. It's very hard, especially with multiple children, especially with having high standards. I do it to myself. It's hard. It's very hard. And then people not liking you from Jump Street because you're a female. Like women got a long way to go in that sense when it comes to being, in the field for sure. So I really just tried to put myself in a situation mentally that, listen, this is what you want to do. This is where you want to go. I'm not just going to be a plumbing apprentice. Where am I going to go? What am I going to look like 5 years down the road, And in a society that's very ageist, it's very easy to feel like you're too old for something. But I'm telling you, like, and I'm not, and you know, I'm not in my 50s or anything like that. I'm 36. But when people even ask me, like, oh, how old are you? I'm sorry to ask. Oh, I'm 36, baby. What's up? You know, I'm 1986, baby. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a 1986 baby. You know, I have no shame in my game. Like, time went like that. Time went so fast, so fast. I remember holding my daughter in my arms when she was born, not knowing what the hell to do, not even know how to hold a baby. I remember my midwife's like, Brooke, you gotta put your arm. Like, it was so. I was like holding like a little cousin or something, or my little sister. I was like, bro, what's up? What can I give this to somebody? Like, that was it. And now all of a sudden it's like, I got my team, I'm giving my girl hugs, and she's going to Europe for 2 weeks. Like, and it's just like, where did the time go? It happens, it passes. And that's why it's so important that if you're in a situation where you want to make more money, you want a different career, you want a different job opportunity, you want to do more for yourself, you want to grow, it's the process too. Putting yourself out there, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's definitely like, it depends on where, on how, right? Like, so me sharing videos, I'm a very fault. I mean, I have a lot of faults. I have many faults. I have so many. I literally could spend an hour rattling them off, but I'm not at all perfect. But what I do and due to my background is that I'm very humble, and I put myself out there a lot because I'm starving for human engagement, in the sense I love to meet people. I love to hear the stories. I truly love that because I love connecting with people. And this is something that I've mentioned before, but I have I have an issue sometimes, like when I read emails and things. Sometimes I read things the wrong way, or I'll get upset. But I'm like, I can't do this digital stuff. I need to like talk to you. So I literally prided myself. I remember when I was working with 2 other women that were helping me with customer service, and they were like, this person's a freaking nightmare, blah blah blah. They'd send it to me. I'd be emailing back and forth. I was like, all right, coming off a little harsh. Let me schedule a call. Within 15 minutes, we're talking about the most random things, you know. And it's like, I love talking to people. I love connecting with people. We don't have enough of that in society today. And I feel like that's where a big issue is in our society. If we just all talk to each other, I feel like people would get along better. The communication, I feel like that's a whole other topic. But I think that when you put yourself out there, whether it be a new career, whether it be a YouTube channel, making videos, connecting with others, you know, just even stepping into a Baskin Robbins to get your first job after 20 years. Like, you're lapping everyone on the couch that would be, you know, judging you, for sure. You're lapping everyone on the couch that would be judging you. It's kind of like the story where the heavyset person is at the gym working out, trying to better themselves, and people are making fun of them. But that person is literally, you know, and I remember, and I say this story because I saw this years ago. This woman was being made fun of by another woman who was at the gym because she was a heavyset woman, but she was at the gym, damn it. She was at the gym. She was making moves. And this, you know, BI was filming it, making fun of her, and then she got, like, you know, raked over the coals, as she should have, on the internet. But I always thought that was disgusting, because I'm like, and of course there were people that I'm sure looked at that and made fun of her too, you know, at home, but she's lapping everyone on the couch, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's kind of how I feel. Like, I know people judge me harshly. I'm judged for being a woman in the field. I'm judged for having children. There are a lot of guys who are like super like anti-natalists that I work with. I also feel like I'm judged for being older, for sure, you know? I'm in class with this young woman, and, you know, we get along well. We always make jokes. I'm like her mom. So like, we kind of like, we'll bicker back and forth, but she's a sweetheart, but she's a lot younger than me. She's very pretty. And, it's funny because people will always say, like, they'll say things like, they'll make comments, and it's kind of slight at me that I'm older in class, but I'm like, you know how much stuff I know? That's kind of what I want to be like. Do you have any idea what, like, I went through to get to this point? You could not walk in my shoes for 5 seconds. You would be crying, calling your mom to pick you up on the side of the road. You have no idea what I've gone through in my life, what I've learned, what I've been through. I was like, you know, and, you know, you just got to honor the stage that you're in. So I could talk. I could talk all day about this. I think, you know, my conversation that I had with this woman on Instagram, it was great. The random conversations that I have with people, I enjoy. And that's why I like to stay on social media. I just get like, I'm just very much the person that'll be like, well, I'm deleting this forever. Like, I'm done, you know? And that's what I do with Facebook. But, you know, I just love talking to people, because she was like, you know, because she had come from a different field, and we were just saying how hard it is because people are so worried about being judged, they're so worried about making the wrong move. But, you know, in order to change, you have to make moves. That's the only way that things will happen for you. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you just gotta, You just got to jump in with both feet. You know, I threw a snorkel on. I was like, all right, am I doing the plumbing thing? And then I'm talking to my alters pretty much. And I'm like, all right, guess we're doing it. And let me jump right into that. You know, like that's kind of how it was, you know? So then when people would, when I talked to people that I hadn't talked to in a while, they're like, oh, how's the diaper business? I was like, oh, I closed it. They're like, oh, what are you up to? I was like, I'm a plumber. What? What? What the hell's that? You know? So it's just funny because it's something that I could take anywhere in the world. I say this all the time. I could take it anywhere in the world. Could take it to other countries. Can work for Habitat. What is it, Habitat for Humanity, I think it is, where you build systems for people, houses and stuff in other countries. I would love to do things like that at one point in my life, but you know, you just enjoy the process and don't be afraid to grow. Don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid of change. And I think if anything, if the pandemic taught us anything, it was that we're done settling. We're done settling. We're done not living our lives. And I think it's important that everybody carries that with them when they're looking into making, like, you know, career changes or entering the workforce and so forth. Even with relationships, friendships, things that no longer serve you. I hate when people say that, but it's true. It's like things that are no longer good for you, right? If a friendship's not good for you, get rid of it. If a relationship's not good for you, get rid of it. If whatever, right, a job, a location's not good for you, get out of it if you can. I'm in a situation where I'd love to move, can't afford it, but so I love my garden, I love my neighborhood, but I'd love to live closer to where everything else is. It's just so freaking expensive. Long Island is a fortune to live in, like everywhere else it's starting to be. But enjoy the process, enjoy where you're at in your life, and things will happen for you. And I say this to you, and I also say this to myself, because I have to constantly talk to myself and give myself pep talks, because it's hard. Life's hard, and it's worth sharing it with others, you know, and sharing that with others, and you know, meeting other people. But with that said, I gotta go pick up my kid. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will check you back again on the next video. I have a couple different videos coming out. I'm trying to be more consistent. I think I'm doing a good job. I think I'm doing, not to pat myself on the back, I think I'm doing a good job, doing the best that I can. But if you guys have any video requests, if you want to see any different type of reviews, whatever, let me know in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you. Take care, friends.